Michael Healy-Rae to conclude.
Look, Ministers, I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak this evening on this very important motion. I suppose out of all the debates that are held in this House, being present for this evening and everybody being involved and everybody having their say in all the different groups is terribly important, because in the future this evening the result of any vote that we have here and the agreement that we have and what I would believe all of us putting our shoulders to the wheel at this critical time is terribly important. The Joint Committee on European Union Affairs, of which I am the chairman, has been closely monitoring the progress of the Brexit negotiations since the referendum vote in 2016. We have been following the entire process. We have considered the various statements and conclusions of the Council of the EU and the European Council over the last 2.5 years, which have paved the way for this draft withdrawal agreement. While details emerged rarely in public, apart from at the staging posts, it is clear, looking at the draft agreement, that Michel Barnier's task force has been hard at work throughout all of this time. Throughout the Brexit process, I have spoken in this chamber and in the meetings of the Joint Committee about the need for decisive progress on Brexit, that the clock was ticking, that the time was running out, and here it is. After long negotiations, we now have a draft of the withdrawal agreement. I think it is great that we have finally seen all of the technical detail of the withdrawal, and that the negotiating teams are suggesting we consider, even if it is a bit close to the wire. I would like to take this opportunity to commend the Taoiseach, the Taoiseach, our ministers and all the officials who have been working hard to ensure that Ireland's interests are heard in Europe. You have succeeded in making your case in Europe and making sure that Ireland has been kept at the top of the Brexit agenda, and that is terribly important. In parallel, many members of this House have been conscientious in doing their part by engaging with parliamentary delegations from EU member states and explaining the unique Irish situation. Because of all of that work, there is a strong understanding of the challenges posed by the border between Ireland and Northern Ireland. Only this week, at the meeting of the EU Affairs Committee of the National Parliaments, COSAC, the delegations from the French and German parliaments tabled a proposal for an amendment stressing that the Good Friday Agreement must be protected unconditionally for a sustainable solution for all Irish citizens, and emphasising the need for solidarity towards Ireland. This amendment was accepted. This is just a small example of the important solidarity we have been given by our European partners, and I think that it is important to recognise that inside in this chamber tonight. As I have said in this chamber before, there is no such thing as a good Brexit for Ireland, the UK or the EU. However, I respect the result of the referendum vote. We all need to move forward, and this draft agreement allows us to do that. It is not perfect by any manner or means, but it does provide a workable solution to the biggest public policy challenge we have faced as a nation in decades. So given the circumstances, I think that we should welcome and support the draft withdrawal agreement. It was important that there would be a strong backstop in place. We need that guarantee, and the draft agreement has that. It was important that the backstop would be kept in place for as long as it is needed and would only be replaced when we have found something better, and that the draft agreement has that. It was also very important that there would be a sufficient transition period. People in the UK, Ireland and the EU need time to prepare for the effects of Brexit on their businesses and their communities, and the draft agreement has that. It was important that Irish citizens living in the UK would continue with their lives, and the draft agreement has that. It was important that the common travel area would continue, and the draft agreement has that. It was important that all parts of the Good Friday Agreement were protected, and that the protocol on Ireland, Northern Ireland, to the draft agreements commits not to diminish the rights set out in the Good Friday Agreement and protects North-South cooperation. It was important that the unique single electricity market on the island of Ireland was protected, so that there was no disruption in our homes, and the draft agreement has that. So we have a draft withdrawal agreement, and it seems to mitigate most of the worst effects, but not all. There are many hurdles still to be overcome. Firstly, getting it agreed by all sides. The draft withdrawal agreement has been cleared by Theresa May's cabinet, but that, as we all know, was far from straightforward. Getting the withdrawal treaty through the Houses of Commons will be an enormous challenge. We do not know how that will go. The full text of the draft withdrawal agreement also needs to be agreed by the European Council and the European Parliament. All important steps, all hurdles that need to be cleared. Now it is just 4 months until Brexit Day. There is a lot of work to be done between now and then, and a lot of work to be done afterwards, as the EU and the UK start to negotiate the second phase, the details of their future relationship. We have to remember that all of this is just the first stage, but it does look like it is the beginning of the end of the first stage. Realistically, it will be a very long time until the Brexit process is finished. There could be many years of talks and negotiations ahead of us before the terms of the UK's relationship with the EU are finally agreed and implemented. I still hope that we manage to get to the end of it with a strong and good relationship. It is vitally important that many of the issues that have been spoken about here already tonight, whether it's our farmers, whether it's our business and tourism people, whether it's our fishermen, these are people who didn't dream up Brexit themselves. They are the bystanders who are going to be affected possibly detrimentally in their lives, their incomes, because of Brexit. That is why the work of politicians, be it our government, be it the officials, be it everyone inside in this house, who in their own way, every one of us playing a little role, but that joint effort being a good defence of the Irish people, of the people that we are elected to represent, and the people that we are duty-bound to stand by Cathaoirleach, and that we are to be there to support them and watch out for their interests. Because, like I say, they are not the people who voted for Brexit. They are not the people, the politicians who dreamt it up. It was others who did that, and well, they can be judged, and history will judge them and is already judging them on their actions. But I would say that I believe so far that the Irish government, the negotiators and everyone inside here has not left them down. I believe that everyone has worked diligently. I believe that you all will continue, and we all will continue to work diligently and do the right thing by the Irish people at all times. So I welcome the draft withdrawal agreement, and I believe this House should support it, and that we all, like I said, in our own little way, put our shoulders to the wheel and do the right thing by Ireland and by all of us. And thank you very much.